Hi, this is Mrs. Parr, and on this episode of Math Up to Par, we're going to talk about elapsed time. And we're going to use a strategy called the Z method. The Z method works well when you know the start time and the end time, but you don't know the elapsed time. And elapsed time means how much time has passed. So we're going to do some example problems with that. So the Z method involves drawing an actual letter Z. So you're going to draw a large Z like this, okay? And so you take the start time, which for this problem, we're going to say 9:43 a.m. is our start time, and 1:08 p.m. is going to be our elapsed time. So when we're looking at this, we're going to use these three lines that make up our Z to record our information. So on the top line and the bottom line, we're going to have minutes. On the diagonal line in the middle, we're going to have hours. So when we fill this out, what we're going to do is we're going to go from 9:43 to the next whole hour. So we're going to go from 9:43 to 10 o'clock, and we're still in AM at this point. Then at the bottom here, we're going to go to the whole hour that is before this time. So we're not going backwards to 12 o'clock. We're just taking 1:08 and we're backtracking it to 1 o'clock. So pretty much whatever the hour is over here, that's going to be the hour over here. We're just changing it to 2 zeros in the minutes because we're making it an even o'clock. So now we're going to fill in the amount of time that has passed between each one of these points. Pretend it's like a car driving on the road. So you're going to be driving from this time to this time to this time to this time, okay? And so you're making pit stops along the way. So from 9:43 to 10 a.m., we need to figure out how many minutes has passed. Well, in this case, there are 60 minutes in an hour, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a subtraction problem, and I'm going to take the number 60, and I'm going to subtract the number of minutes from my hour over here. So I have 43 minutes that have passed into 9 o'clock, and I need to see how many minutes are left until I get to 10 o'clock. So if I have 43 minutes that have passed, I need a total of 60 minutes to pass to go from 9 to 10. So I'm taking 60 minus 43. And that's going to equal 17. So the amount of time that has passed between 9:43 and 10 o'clock is 17 minutes. Okay, then I'm going to look at this middle line. So I'm going to talk about just hours. So from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock, I'm going to count the amount of hours that have passed. So we have 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. So that's 3 hours that have passed between 10 and 1. Now, the bottom line is really simple to do because from 1 to 1:08, that's 8 minutes that has passed. So I'm going to go ahead and write 8 minutes right here. So now I've broken up my times into different pit stops, and because of that, I have 3 pieces of information that I have to put together to get my final answer. So the top line and the bottom line are minutes, which is a different unit than hours. So I'm adding my minutes together because they are the same unit. So I'm going to take 17 plus 8, and I get 25. 25 minutes. I had 3 hours that passed and a total of 25 minutes. So my answer to how much time has elapsed between 9:43 a.m. and 1:08 p.m. is 3 hours and 25 minutes. Let's try another one. So I'm going to draw my Z. This time my start time is going to be 2:17 p.m. and my end time is going to be 6:39 p.m. All right. So now I've got to write my hours, and I've got to go to the next whole hour and the whole hour before. So the next whole hour after 2:17 is going to be 3 o'clock. sure why it's doing those lines right there. And then the whole hour that's before 6:39 is going to be 6 o'clock. So the bottom line is really easy to do, and the middle line might be simpler. The top line is probably the trickiest in my opinion, but not in everybody's. So you don't have to work in order. You need to know that from here to here is the amount of time, from here to here is the amount of time, and here to here is the amount of time, but you don't necessarily have to fill out the lines in order. The last line is really simple for me to fill out, so I might go ahead and write that that's 39 minutes down here because I know that. I might say I know that from 3 to 6 is 3 hours, so I might fill that out as well. My top line, I'm going to subtract, and I'm going to subtract 60 minus 17 because there are 60 minutes in an hour and 17 minutes have passed into this hour, and I need to see how many minutes are left until I get to the next whole hour. So I'm going to take my number 60 and I'm going to subtract 17 and I'm going to get 43, okay? So I get 43 minutes. So remember, because my top and my bottom lines are the same unit, I'm going to put those together and I'm going to add those together. So I have 43 plus 39. So I'm going to take 43 plus 39. 3 minus 9 is, 3 plus 9, I'm sorry, is 12. And then 4 plus 3 plus 1 is 8. That's 82 minutes, okay? Here's the thing. 3 hours and 82 minutes is not put in simplest form. And the reason for that is because 82 is larger than 60. And if there's 60 minutes in an hour, that means 82 minutes is more than 1 hour. So we need to transfer that information over. So I'm going to kind of come down here and show you that. So if my answer was 3 hours, 82 minutes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away 60 minutes from this amount of time right here. But because I do that, I can't just make 60 minutes disappear. I need to put it over into my hour, so I need to transfer it. So when I subtract 60 minutes over here, I'm going to add an hour over here, okay? Because these two amounts right here are equal to each other, okay? So when I'm adding them, subtracting them, I'm just transferring the time from my minutes over to my hours. It's not disappearing. It's not coming out of nowhere. It's not going anywhere. It's just moving. So I have 82 minus 60, which is 22 minutes. And then 3 hours plus 1 hour is going to be 4 hours. So my final answer is going to be 4 hours and 22 minutes. Okay? So sometimes you'll need to do that extra step if your minutes add up to be larger than 60. If they don't, like they did in this previous problem, if they add up to an amount that's smaller than 60, then you're good. But if they add up to an amount that's larger than 60, then that's bigger than an hour, and we need to transfer those minutes over to the hours. All right, let's try another one. So we have our Z. Our start time is going to be 7:31 p.m. Our end time is going to be 8:15 p.m. All right, I'm going to say from 7:31 to my next whole hour is 8 o'clock p.m. And then the whole hour that's before 8:15 is 8 o'clock p.m. I know that from 8 to 8:15 is 15 minutes. From 8 to 8 o'clock, no time has passed, and that's okay, and that will happen. And all you do is write 0 hours on this line when that happens. The top line, I'm taking 60 minutes, and I'm taking 60 minus 31. So I'm going to take 60 minus 31. Which equals 29. Okay, so I'm adding my top line and my bottom line because they're the same unit of minutes. So I'm adding 29 plus 15 and I get 44 minutes. I don't have any hours. This amount is smaller than 60, so my final answer is 44 minutes. You can put 0 hours and 44 minutes, or you can just leave it off. Let's do just one more to practice. One more Z. Start time 11:46 a.m. 1:58 p.m. So I'm going from 11:46 to my next whole hour, which is 12 o'clock. And that transfers over to p.m. at that time. And then my whole hour that's before 1:58 is 1 o'clock. All right, so my hours from 12 to 1 is 1 hour. You see, it doesn't matter the order I fill in my lines, as long as I fill all 3 of them in. I know my bottom amount is 58 minutes. And then my top amount, I'm doing 60 minus 46. I can do it on the calculator, can do it on paper. Mentally, it's going to be 14 minutes. So now I'm going to add up my top line and my bottom line because they are both minutes and they're the same unit. So I'm going to add 58 plus 14. 8 plus 4 is 12. I've got an amount that's bigger than 60, so I've got to do one of those problems again. So I have right now 1 hour and 72 minutes, so I need to transfer that information over. So I have 1 hour, and what did I say it was? 72 minutes. 72 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away 60 minutes, but as I do that, I'm going to add an hour over here, because 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. So if I take it away from the minutes, I have to put it over into my hours to make sure that it's not disappearing, it's not going anywhere, it needs to still stay there, it's just transferring over. So 72 minus 60 is 12, and then 1 hour plus 1 hour is 2 hours. So my final answer is going to be 2 hours 12 minutes. So 2 hours and 12 minutes. So the Z method works really well when you know the start time and you know the end time, and you need to find the time that has passed, the elapsed time. If you don't know the start or the end, and you know one or the other and you know the elapsed time, it's possible to use the Z method, but it's a little bit tricky. So if you want to watch a different video, I will show you how to use a T-chart to be able to find either the start time or the end time when you know one of those pieces of information and you know the amount of time that has passed. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for learning about the Z method, and I wish you all the best with it. So happy practicing.